Hey everybody, welcome to the Gamers at Large Midweek Show. Tonight we're gonna have some first for the midweek show, but before we get to that, Jamie, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's up, guys?
All right. First things first tonight. Tonight we're gonna do what we like to call first look. So this game came out was it last week?
Last Friday.
Last Friday. And it is Fallout 4. And Jamie is gonna give his views on Fallout 4. He's about 40, 50, 70 hours in. And so he's going to give you the first look, and I'm just going to be quiet and let him run with it.
All right, so it came out Friday, right? I played it for about 12 hours initially, and then I started over completely because I royally screwed up my character. Because I started out planning to play it a certain way, so I kind of geared my stats towards that, and then I noticed I kept trying to play a different way, and my character was weak trying to play like that, and just everything was just sucked. But that was my fault. So I restarted, and then I've put 34 hours into this character. So all told, I've put 46 hours into the game since Friday. It's Wednesday. Just want to remind you that. I'm sure there are people that have played more than I have at this point, but I'm a grown adult with a 40-hour week job and a wife. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of time into the game. So to kind of let you know where this game compares to the past one, I played Fallout 3 quite a bit. Like I got most of the DLC for it. I really enjoyed it. I played that one a few times and did all kinds of crazy things. Like I loved crafting the strange weapons. I would run around with the junk shooter in the first one, like shooting teddy bears and plates and pre-war money at things to kill it. You know, I loved making the shish kebab, which was like the sword with its flame jets on it. And oh yes, there was also the railgun, which was literally a gun that shot railroad ties, and it made little train sounds when you would fire it. And then of course it would like stick people's heads to the walls. It was pretty hardcore.
Okay.
So yeah, coming up to Fallout 4, it plays much the same. It really feels like it took Fallout 3 and just put a big coat of paint on it to kind of bring it up to current. But they changed a lot of key things with it. Number one, which makes me the happiest, is the crafting system. They have an incredibly robust crafting system. Now, I haven't seen where I've been able to straight up make my own items yet, aside from things like chems and uh, some odds and ends here. Like I haven't found out how to make a nuclear grenade yet, which is like nuclear quantum plus explosive things, and it makes a really pretty and massive explosion at the same time. But you can really customize any sort of armor or weapons that you find, and there are particular perks like the gun nut perk, or the armorer perk, or the blacksmith perk, and science also, a perk called science that lets you actually go in and really heavily customize these items. Like for example, I found a normal hunting rifle, right? But through my gun nut perk, which I'm now up to level 3 on that, I've converted it into a uh, a very high damage silenced 50 caliber sniper rifle
What?
with a recon scope, which tracks enemies. Yes, so that's what I did with a normal hunting rifle through perks. And other things, like if I found a regular combat shotgun, but I put a quick eject drum magazine on it, so now the magazine holds like 30 rounds in itself, fires quickly. I put and just other odds and ends to kind of make it a little bit better. But you can do outlandish things too. Like you can take a minigun, for example, and you can wrap it in barbed wire and blades so that you can hit people in the face with it harder. You know?
All right, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there are other things too, like customizing power armor is a thing. Because previous Fallout, Fallout 3, you would just find pieces of power armor and you'd wear it like any other armor. In this Fallout 4, it's its own sort of thing you hop into. Like it feels like hopping into a little mech. is kind of how they do it. So each suit of power armor is its own thing, and you can mix and match and swap out each of the different pieces, but you kind of have your own power armor frame. And, I was under the impression that it was going to be its own, like, special thing. Like, oh my god, it's going to be hard to obtain power armor. And, like, I'm going to give the Brotherhood of Steel, and they're going to give me power armor. At this point, I have 5 suits of power armor in my home base. It's just like, I feel like Tony Stark when I walk in there.
You just mixing and matching for whatever comes your way, basically.
Exactly. I have one that's painted up in hot rod flames, just because I found a random plan for that somewhere, and it increases my agility when I wear it.
Okay.
So it's red and it has flames on it, and I feel like I'm an '80s greaser or '60s greaser. Excuse me.
Important question: Did
yes.
you make Hulk Hogan?
No, I did not make Hulk Hogan. I've seen other people that have made like John Cena. I saw one that made Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
All kinds of other things. But the character creation is, let's just say, it's robust. So you can make just about anybody you can think of making.
All right, that's cool, because that was one of the things after I saw the whole Hulk Hogan and John Cena, and it was somebody else that got made. I was like, okay, they went all out on that. So
exactly. So for example, if Mr. T decides to pick up Fallout on the Xbox, he could quite literally make Mr. T his character. So I'm sure he could easily do that.
Okay.
But I haven't really found any gold chains, so he might be out of luck there.
Well, it is post-apocalypse, so
yes, exactly. So plenty of stuff, gold lighters and stuff going around.
But, all right, dog. Do you have your dog?
Oh yeah, he had the dog early on. I abandoned him. Like, he just hangs out at my base because I'm gonna be honest. I hate companions. I hate companions.
I was gonna ask you about that. Was it have like a smart AI? But if you left them, no.
Well, here's the thing: is companions are reasonably smart, but the way I'm trying to play the game, because I like to play stealth, right?
Okay.
And it's not like Last of Us where your companions can run in front of the enemies and not trigger them. No, these guys are dumb as a rock, and they try to stealth with me, but they fail miserably. So they're constantly pulling enemies, constantly getting in combat when I want to just like pick them off one by one. So I had to abandon them. But under the charisma stat, there is a perk called Lone Wanderer that actually gives you carry bonuses and damage reduction bonuses when you go without companions. So if you're like me and you're trying to play stealth, you want to get that perk because it makes life so much better. Because the key thing to having companions is that they can carry additional stuff on you. Like, here, please hold these 15 typewriters and don't ask any questions as to why.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that was the key thing, is being able to just give them a bunch of stuff and they could be backup damage. Which, if you're trying to play like straight up and just go through and kill everything, then companions are great. There's a lot of great options for companions, and you'll like them. But if you're trying to play stealth, you do not want a companion. They will ruin your day.
Gotcha. So if you want to go in like guns blazing, everything must die, I do not suffer the apocalypse to live, companion all the way.
Oh yeah, and there are some great companions too. I mean, you get the dog first, but you'll run into plenty of other ones that are interesting, and they want to talk to you, and they have interesting stories. My favorite so far is a super mutant named Strong. Now, the story behind this guy, he's not part of the main story. He's somebody off on the side. You could completely miss him and not realize it. But his clan of super mutants had captured this human who was like this big radio DJ, right? And he was trying to go to the super mutants. He was trying to culture them and like teach them Shakespeare. Of course, they weren't having that because they're super mutants. So they locked him up. But Strong was like, he kind of was digging all the Shakespeare stuff, but he was taking everything very literally, So since he was trying to stick up for the human, they stuck him in there with him. So you go through and you beat all the super mutants, and you go to unlock them, and they're telling you this story, and he was like, and the human's like, yeah, been culturing Strong and teaching him about the milk of human kindness and culture. And Strong's never like that, like, Strong will find human milk and drink all of it.
Okay.
So his goal in life is to find the mythical human milk and drink it to gain the power of humans.
That could be a problem.
And he's hilarious.
Okay, because that sounds like the straight man and the little okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds hilarious.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fun things in there, and just one more quick story, and I'll go into more detail in the game. But yeah, there's one city you go into called Good Neighbor, which is like the most ironic name for this place. And there's one ghoul in there that's obsessed with this old school radio show called The Silver Shroud, which think it's like any of those old school, like, 20s, 30s, 40s, like spy detective shows, but you have like the lone spy vigilante, then trench coat and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And so you have to go and you have to find, because they were going to shoot a movie, so you have to go and find the suit and props and whatever else. And you come back to him, he's like, all right, so I want you to be the Silver Shroud, and I want you to go kill people. But when you're walking around and you're like talking to people before you kill them and talking to the mayor of the town, you can act as if you are the Silver Shroud. Your character totally hams it up. Like, I will bring all the evildoers to justice. They won't know what's coming. It's hilarious.
Oh man, okay.
So the game has a hell of a lot of character, and I'm overall I'm loving it. And going back into more technical details on it, because we got plenty of time tonight. We're waiting on other people, so I'm just gonna like gush on Fallout. All right. So going back to the whole crafting thing. In addition to the crafting system, there is basically a base crafting system. All right. So you can build your own bases, and there are tons of them everywhere. They end up being not bases, but they're what are they called? Settlements. Settlements, right? So you actually build these settlements to recruit more people in, to do whatever else. It's a completely optional thing, but I actually kind of enjoyed doing it. So any kind of parts that you see anywhere within Fallout, you can recreate them for your own settlements. And you can bring in crops. You can install not water filters, but like water filtration systems is the best way I can put it. For water for your townsfolk, you can build fences. You can build entire houses. You can run power lines everywhere. It's a really, really in-depth system for actually building these settlements. And you can, install shops there to kind of earn money from your settlers that come in. You get additional quests to go and do other things and kill stuff. And I think the YouTuber Super Bunny Hop goes into a lot of great detail on building settlements because he got hooked on doing that. And it is a little addicting, and I kind of lose time sometimes when I'm building settlement stuff. I'm trying to build a fence, or I'm trying to, build a house from scratch, or trying to decorate here or there, or plant crops and assign people to do this, and assign people to do that, and put up some guard towers. And it's easy to lose yourself in it before you know it, if you get into it.
So that's like what they were showing the E3 then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as far as the story of the game is concerned, it's fairly basic. I'm gonna spoil like the first 10 minutes of the game, so that's about it.
Okay.
So bombs go off and the whole Fallout thing, and you go in the vault, and they're like, yeah, so welcome to your new life in the vault. We're gonna get you set up. Just step into this here decontamination chamber, and it was a cryo freeze thing. So they put you into cryo. And 200 years later, it was you and your husband or wife or whoever you pick. Your partner has the baby you guys have. So 200 years later, you don't know how much time has passed at that point. These like two mercenaries or two random people come in and take you and your husband all freeze, but they open up your partner's cryo chamber and they're trying to take the baby from them. And they're like, no, you can't have the baby. And they just shoot them dead right in front of your eyes. And you're still locked up in your little chamber. And they come over and they're like, well, it's a good thing we still have the backup. And they put you back on freeze for another, indeterminate amount of time. So when you get out, you're on a mission to find your son named Sean. Okay. So at that point, you either go try and find Sean or you just, piss about the wasteland killing things. So...
Oh, okay.
Whichever way you choose to do it, but eventually you'll do some story stuff. But that's the basic story. Kind of moving on to, let's talk about the AI in the game, because I already told you about the companion AI, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's not too bad, but don't try and play stealth with them because they're bad at that. Enemy AI, however, is actually pretty damn smart. They'll try and stay out of your line of sight when they can. They'll duck and dodge and try and flank you. And for a Fallout game, that's kind of surprising. Because normally they wouldn't really do that before. Not that I remember, at least. But the developers said they were trying to aim for more of a Destiny feel for their gunplay. And I think with the enemy AI, they've done that. And to me, now keep in mind, it's been a long time since I played Fallout 3, but it feels like the gunplay in this game has just way surpassed what it was before. You know, because before you would bring up VATS and you would use VATS constantly because trying to just aim down sights and shoot was terrible.
Okay.
Not so much anymore. It's actually a lot of fun. And, you know, with me loving to use the sniper rifle constantly, I never use VATS with it. I don't. I just aim down the shot, aim down the sights, aim down the scope, and just pick off the targets I need to. So in a lot of cases, I prefer to go without VATS, but I still use it sometimes when it's, you know, more beneficial to. Plus, to build up the crit meter and get some extra damage in when I can.
Okay, because that is one thing I did hear. I did hear that the actual combat system was overhauled from what was in 3, from what I understand. Well,
Oh
at
yeah,
least from what I heard.
yeah. I feel like it was overhauled because it feels a lot better now than it did before.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Do I have any other questions? All right. Have you run into anything that you did not like?
Let's see. What did I not like? What did I not like? You know, there's nothing that really pops out of my head of right now as far as not liking is concerned. There's
Mhm.
nothing that's really deterred me from playing. You know, like I said, I restarted my first character just because I really screwed up the perks. So it'd be nice if there was a way for us to, you know, maybe completely undo our perks or flip our stats around a little bit. You know, after we started playing, that would be kind of nice. But I didn't find any way to do that, unfortunately. Um, but I mean, as far as the game mechanics and everything are concerned, I mean, I'm really enjoying everything about it. So I don't really have any major complaints there. The one thing we have to talk about is the Bethesda effect when it comes to their games,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah.
Bugs and glitches and so on and so forth. Um, Now I was expecting possibly horrendous bugs when I put this in the system. And honestly, I'm not really running into that. You know, I get some frame stuttering sometimes. Sometimes for no reason. Sometimes with a lot of stuff's happening in the game. I get a lot of pop in and pop out. I'll have awkward moments in conversations where like I don't get the little conversation buttons to pop up, and so the characters just kind of stand there and awkwardly stare at each other. And then after like 10 seconds they'll go back to, you know, actually having the conversation buttons to choose. um but I mean, nothing major, just little bits here and there, you know, clipping and things popping in and out and frame stuttering and, you know, odd things here and there, but nothing major game breaking. I have had some. I do regularly get corrupted saves, but the thing is there's a lot of redundancy in their saving. So it seems that I always will have two saves at that point. One will be corrupted and one is fine. It's for the exact same time. So even though I've been getting corrupted saves, I haven't been having any sort of, you know, real issue. It's been plaguing me or giving me real problems. So it's buggy, it's glitchy, it's Bethesda, but it's nothing that should prevent you from playing the game.
There was nothing like that was, what their normal, issues are
Yeah,
basically.
I haven't run into anything, and anything that's been game breaking, anything that's really stopped me from playing.
Mhm.
And the key thing here also is I'm subscribed to the Fallout subreddit on Reddit, and I haven't been hearing anyone else running these issues either. So as far as I can tell, there's nothing really game breaking. There's some things that are going to annoy you and things that don't work as well as it should, and there's plenty of room for improvement through patching, but there's nothing game breaking.
Okay, well that's good to know because I know I was telling you before we started about my nightmares with Skyrim. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Bethesda effect, gotta love it. So, peeps, I hope you all enjoyed our little first look at Fallout 4. We're gonna try to do these when we have big game releases. if somebody in the crew has it, we'll just do a quick little first look on the midweek show and let you guys know what we think about it. Shep, you good?
Yeah, you guys hear me good?
Yep. We can hear
And
you.
to kind of add to what you just said, Jay, I wouldn't expect any sort of first week impressions when Xenoblade comes out because we're all going to be too busy.
Give us
Yeah,
about
expect
3
a couple
months.
months.
Give
Yup,
us about 3 months.
exactly.
We'll get you one. He will get you in one. Yeah. Xenoblade. That's probably gonna take. We're probably gonna do that until like January.
Yeah,
Here's up.
that's being generous, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's being nice about it. But yeah, I hope you guys look forward to those first looks. Topic wise tonight, I know we did our Nintendo Direct one last week, but there was a couple things that I noticed when I was perusing around YouTube and some sites that I usually go to, and they had a couple questions on their sites and something that I've heard that I wanted to bring up tonight. And there are two questions that involve two things that happened at the Nintendo Direct. The first one is the inclusion of Linkle in the Hyrule Warriors Legends for the 3DS. And the question was asked, what does this mean for the Zelda series? Now, I know a lot of people have been saying, like, Hyrule Warriors isn't canon, so none of those characters will ever be introduced into the main Zelda series. I kind of don't believe that because there's one character in particular that is set up the way they can put her in anytime they want to.
Oh, Lana.
Yeah, that's Lana. The way they set that character up, they can put her in whenever they want to put her in. So the question is, Linkle, is if the character does catch on, which people are thinking that the character will catch on, should she be added to the Zelda series? Should she be either Link and her together, or should it be like just the option to have a female version of Link, like a female version of Shepard from Mass Effect? So I want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Can I go first? Okay. All right, so here's what I'm thinking, because a lot of people are really liking Linkle. I mean, I don't know if you've been seeing all the fan art, but there's a ton of them.
Fan art's insane.
I know. Yeah, and it took less than 24 hours for Ludes to come out, too. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Anyway, so here's what I'm thinking, and a lot of people have kind of chimed in also, is Linkle reminds people of Link's little sister from the Wind Waker, right?
Yeah, Aru.
Yeah, so what's to say they couldn't do a Zelda story where it lets you pick either Link or Linkle, off the bat, and you go to... Right, and part of the quest is you going to try and save the other one. Virtually everything else will be identical, but that's what would change, is instead of Linkle getting captured, it would be Link, if you chose Linkle.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen.
I have no issues with that, yeah. So go ahead.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen. It was going to be like you get to choose Link or Linkle, and then the story still be, the same. It'd just be a couple of changes here or there. Like you have to go save Link first, and things of that nature. So that's what I was thinking. But I know I forgot what site I was on this morning. They were thinking that she would actually be in the game, like. A second character that you can actually, because people were bringing up the whole multiplayer aspect of actually having a multiplayer console Zelda. I don't know about that, but I don't know. Shep, your thoughts?
Okay, let me edit myself just a touch. All right. I'm more or less mirror Jamie's thoughts in regards to. I think it would be the alternative path for the same family member would be awesome. Like you have the choice between the siblings, and then we go from there. Another thing is, as much as I hate to admit it, that possibility of the whole multi-console thing and the optional different versions, that could happen. Because they're trying to appeal to more people, and I don't always agree with it. Because it could go both ways, but Nintendo's actually listening to us. How they listen to us and what they do is a different story. So I can't really say much because I could go either way and I could give my own arguments for it. So I'm just gonna bite my tongue for now, and then maybe I'll say more later. So I'm gonna
Okay.
leave that be. Plus Shadow just showed up, so give him a chance to chip in.
Yo, Shadow,
What's going on?
what's up? So the question is, what does the inclusion of Linkle in Hyrule Warriors Legends mean for the Zelda series as a whole? Do you think it's going to lead to a multiplayer Zelda console game, or do you think it's just going to be like you get to choose whether you want to be Link or Linkle before you start your adventure? Go.
Other than the obvious internet spawned Rule 34 stuff, I really don't think it's going to change the concept of the way they design those games. It'll probably make for additional content for future Hyrule Warriors games because obviously that was a hit and they're going to continue doing that. Um, Maybe that they can try to come up with something where maybe Linkle and Zelda team up in another Triforce Heroes game, I guess, if you will. So, the little multiplayer Zelda you could play top down with instead of 3 links, 4 links, or whatever. There's actually 3 to 4 separate characters with different traits at this point in time. So, it just kind of opens up the path for that. I don't think they're going to do anything like that with the main line. If she decides to appear in any of the other games outside of Wind Waker, obviously, I don't really see her being a playable character. I think it's probably going to be more NPC type, and I don't think she's going to have an active role. You gotta think at this point in time, this is a scrapped character for Hyrule Warriors. It didn't even make the green light for this spin-off game. So I don't think they're going full steam ahead just because that was green lit for this game finally.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but wasn't the reason they didn't push it through is because they were worried about how people were going to respond?
Yeah, well,
So
Link's already androgynous anyway, so they'll just be like, isn't this just another Link? So it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone because we have enough people battling on the internet about that topic too.
Yeah.
She's well received in some ways, and there's a lot of rage too because gamers are never satisfied.
Well, for the longest time, people have always thought Link was a girl anyway. They thought Link was Zelda. But,
I was gonna say it's more they thought Link was Zelda, but
so now Zelda's finally in the game. I thought Zelda was finally in the game as soon as Sheik was playable, but I guess it's neither here nor there, huh? But
let's not get started.
You really need to stop thinking, Shadow. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, let's not get started on the games press.
Yeah. Yeah, because y'all don't want to know what I saw today. Anyway, keep it
I kind of want to know.
Now I'm curious.
No, yeah, don't worry. I'll tell you once we off air.
Rule 34 stuff again already? Okay.
Already.
Anyway.
I didn't know you swung that way, Jay.
That's right.
Y'all wrong.
Hot Ryu. That's what Maximilian called him.
Oh man. So I was watching Maximilian Dude this morning. I was watching his reaction to Cloud being in Smash. Hilarious, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to watch it.
I haven't seen it yet. That's right.
Yeah, Maximilian loses it when Cloud is introduced in Smash. But here's the question that he asked like a couple of videos after that was, what does that inclusion mean for Nintendo? Now, a lot of people are speculating that the Final Fantasy VII Remake will be coming to Nintendo's next console. I don't know. So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts. And Chad, why don't you start this one off?
Well, I'll put it this way. I have a video in the works that actually has footage of his reaction on there. But it kind of begs the question that maybe this time Nintendo's serious. Because previously, before, they would cut those kind of deals, and it was more like we just need to kind of warm people up to our games on this platform, which was the whole, if we put Snake in here, maybe more people will, buy Konami games type thing. But since none of the other Metal Gear games ever made it to Wii, I didn't really see the point of that. It would make a lot more sense, say, in the future. Say there is a launch Smash Bros. Game for NX. Provided that's going to be a console anyway, it's still we got to get some more information. Anyway, whatever the successor to Wii U is, if it has a Smash Bros. Game at launch or the launch window, which has been extended to a year now, apparently to current happenings. If that happens, it just seems more likely that it will go. The business way would be, hey, if your games don't typically sell well on our platform, put them in Smash, and we'll see if we can try to warm people up to buying those games. So when they are released, the audience is able to warm up a little bit more to those characters. Because I think right about now, I don't think it would be that bad of. I don't think it would be a disaster if Metal Gear released on Wii U. I don't think. I think that game would sell at least 1 million copies. At least they would get their money back just by porting it. The question is, how much would it cost to port it?
Yeah, and kind of speaking of what you just said as far as Smash and NX is concerned, I think one of the smartest moves Nintendo could do would be to release a finalized game of the generation version of Smash 4, just say, that would have all of the DLC included on the disc, have it available at launch, or even as a pack-in game with the NX.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, because that way all the third-party characters are there for promotion right off the bat, so people that don't know them don't have to shell out money for a character they're not familiar with, so they can kind of get used to it. And that would be kind of a show of good faith for third parties also. And I'm almost convinced that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be in the NX at some point, just because Square Enix suddenly has this absurd level of support for Nintendo systems.
Yeah, because they put Cloud Strife in the other game too.
Fantasy Explorers.
Yeah.
And Red Theater Rhythmic. Anyway, go ahead.
That theatrical.
Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I did find it funny when somebody brought it up. Was like, dude, Cloud ain't even in PlayStation All Stars, and I forgot he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot that too.
A lot of people are hot about that. He's like, he wasn't in PlayStation All Stars, but he's in Smash. A lot of people are upset about that. But.
Well, first of all, let's be not being funny or anything. When a character goes in Smash, a lot more people are gonna see him.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's a much bigger franchise, period.
There's also the thing that, that entire franchise exists because it was on a Nintendo platform to begin with. So it's kind of like you can't really just be upset about something when if you're talking about something being exclusive. It's exclusive to the middle of a franchise that only existed on a platform that Nintendo created anyway.
Yeah.
There would be no Final Fantasy if it wasn't on Nintendo.
Exactly.
So Final Fantasy 1 wouldn't exist if it didn't do well on the NES, which means the rest of the franchise wouldn't exist. Final Fantasy 7 wouldn't exist because there wouldn't be a PlayStation to put it on if it weren't for Nintendo. So either way you go,
yeah.
I don't know what to say about Sony faithful at this point. If you're like extreme fanboyish, you gotta have that seat at that point.
My whole issue with the whole fanboy thing is this: if you're really that hardcore PlayStation, you would know the full history involved, and you should at least be able to. You might not like it, but at least respect the facts.
Yeah.
Some people out there, man. I just listened to a podcast today, and somebody turned down the free Xbox 360 because they said there were a PlayStation guy in the crowd. Like, this is crazy.
That's ridiculous. I don't give nothing free.
I mean, granted, they were IGN fans, but that's to be expected. But to hear somebody really say that, like, "Hey, Xbox 360, who wants an Xbox 360? Who's never had one?" And people raise their hand or whatever, and he's pointing to a guy that raised his hand. He's like, "I'm a PlayStation guy. If you give me a PlayStation, I'll take that." Like, what? Really?
It's free $99, dumbass.
Yeah.
Free $99 is the best price.
Man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not on that level of stupidity. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just no, hell no.
Yeah.
But
And if we want to discuss Sony Faithful, we can talk about the debacle that they've had recently with their customer service. I don't know if you guys have heard about this or not.
Please
No,
tell me,
I
because
heard they got hacked again though. The
Oh
company.
yeah. Okay, so here's the story. This was a big thing on Reddit, and the thing was this guy had his account hacked through PSN, right?
okay,
And the dude spent $500 on this PSN account, but he created a sub account under the main account so he could still use the guy's credit card, right? So charged up $500, like $499.01 or something. So he called Sony, the guy that got hacked called Sony, and Sony was like, "Oh, that's terrible. So we're gonna try and get your money refunded as soon as we can. In the meantime, we should go ahead and ban the sub account so that he can't charge anything else to it." So he was like, "Okay, sure, ban the sub account," based on what they said. So he went through a big thing with them, and after lots of phone time back and forth, he only got like less than half of what was taken.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, at the same time, they were like, "So, oh no, he got less than half was taken," and Sony wouldn't help him at all because the second person he talked to was like, "Okay, look, we can't refund money on that other sub account that was made because we can't refund money on banned accounts."
Wow.
After
And I
after
bet you
they,
he credited it wasn't.
after they told him to ban that account. So then the Sony rep was like, "Well, you can always do a chargeback on your credit card, to get the money from us that way. I mean, that's an option for you."
Oh,
So
that doesn't sound right because it sounds like it's going to be in limbo. Don't do that.
we got more. We got more. All right.
This
So
is such a fail, dude.
I know. So this guy talks to his credit company. And it's like, "Look, I need to do a chargeback to get the rest of my money from Sony." So they do chargeback, which of course is disputed by Sony, right?
Mm-hmm.
wow.
So Sony, apparently, when you do a chargeback, Sony bans your account on PSN. So what happened was Sony actually won the dispute on the chargeback. Okay, because they cited that he logged into his PSN account the day he reported to them that it was banned, that it had been hacked. So
So this dude lost more than the initial $500 at this point.
Lost it all at this point.
yeah, basically. So Sony disputed it, and they won the dispute. And so he called up Sony again to try and get his account fixed, and they said they couldn't do anything for him because his account was banned because of the chargeback.
Wow. That is.
Yeah, the full story is on Reddit, and I'm sure if you just do Google search, you can find the story like mirrored elsewhere. But it was atrocious, and Sony has a history of having terrible customer service. And when you pair that with their PSN, which is basically a Swiss cheese of a network, you're gonna have issues. Or as they say on South Park, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. Because they stay, and I have a PS4 and PS3, and they stay maintenance and PSN down and all that.
I have to say, out of all three of the companies, though, I have been surprised since 2005 how good Microsoft has been. Like even with the issues with the RRODs and stuff like that, like I've never had issues with RMAs. I was getting stuff back like immediately, like well before the time that they gave me. As far as mailing stuff back, if something gets erroneously charged to my account, they'll just instantly send me a gift card or just send put points on my account or whatever. Often before I even realize it happened. So I got to commend them, and Microsoft is on point when it comes to that kind of stuff. That online services stuff, they really take it seriously. At least from my experiences, I haven't seen anybody else really complain about anything like that. Now they do have outages just like everybody else does or whatever, but usually they try to buy you out of it. Like, hey, here's three free months of gold or some shit. Whenever something like that happens, I have nothing bad to say about them. I've had an issue with Nintendo before about one or two items maybe not transferring over after I sent my original Wii back. but that was more of the way the game was designed as far as like some of the saves. So that's neither here nor there. And that was actually for someone else. It wasn't for me. When I burned my Bluetooth module out, they brought everything back. All my virtual console stuff, everything that I purchased was on that new system I got with a completely different serial number. So,
The thing is, Microsoft pretty much is a tech company, so they have to have great customer service.
Yeah, they're on top of it. I got to throw my hat to them, and they're on top of it. I didn't really. I had a bad experience with them with the original Xbox, but from 360 on, man, they've been doing it.
Yeah, that's good to know. I've been fortunate enough not to have any major issues like that. So I've been fortunate.
And I'm going to brag on Nintendo customer service because I've actually had a number of encounters with them. Because I guess starting with GameCube, because I had a GameCube it failed for some reason in the first 18 months or something. I had an extended warranty because I registered or something.
You should have kept that game. You should have kept that GameCube and put it in a vault, because that is the first GameCube failure I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, I said I've never heard of a GameCube
People
failure.
throw those things against a brick wall, and the wall breaks.
Bro, I've seen people drag the GameCube behind their car and then go inside. It looks like pure garbage. Plug it in and it works just fine.
Yeah, but the GameCube failed, and I was surprised also. Like, the only game, though, because what would happen is the game would play for a little while, and then the system would just seize up. And the funny thing was, you could play Animal Crossing all day just fine, because it only had loaded, like, the beginning of it, and then it was fine. But everything else, nothing else worked. So I called Nintendo, and they were like, okay, so we want you to ship it into us, and we'll get it fixed in no time. And so I shipped it to them, and free of charge, of course. And they shipped it. No, that was a different thing with a different GameCube. Now, the first time I had a failure was.
Wait, a different GameCube? How many GameCubes did you go through, bro?
I had a couple. I went through. All right. The second one I think was a damage issue though. But the first one, there was a Nintendo repair shop in the next city over. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
No.
But anyway, I took it to the Nintendo repair shop, and they took it in and said, "Okay, fine. Well, we'll take care of it. We'll send it off." And 4 days later, I had a fresh GameCube. Within 4 days, and it cost me nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty damn quick.
Yeah, and the second time I had a GameCube failure sometime later, I actually did ship it off to Nintendo, and I had a fresh one in the mail a week later. And let's talk 3DS, because I've had to send in, let's see, I had one 3DS that just had some sort of a malfunction in it, like it had issues reading games or something. Mailed it in, free of charge, they fixed it, no problem. I had another one when I had an accident, and I posted on Google Plus furiously about it. It was the day Pokemon X and Y came out. And I was like, oh man, I've got Pokemon X and Y, I'm so happy. And I go to a movie, and I come out, and like I trip over my own feet, and like fall on my 3DS in my pocket, and smash both screens. And they charged me like $120 to completely replace everything in that 3DS. And it was perfect. But I've called Nintendo for a number of things. I've had to ship things off to them for repairs, and they have always been fantastic to me. I've never had a single problem. They've cut me breaks on repairs when I've asked. They've always paid for shipping. It's fantastic. So
I figured it out, Jay.
Yep.
You are a research subject. That's why they let it slide.
Yeah,
you're one of the few people that are able to damage Nintendo products consistently. So they're like, all right, we got to hook this guy up and keep close watch on how he handles these things.
I mean, you need to make a new video series. You need to call it "I Break Nintendo." Like, show us, because dude, I have a Game Boy that still works right now, old school Game Boy that my cousin decided to leave in my backyard for 3 weeks. And it rained for several of those weeks. And popped Double Dragon in, and it worked just fine. So
there's also that Game Boy at the Nintendo World Store that survived Iraq.
Yeah.
I have a DS Fat that survived Iraq.
Yep.
I actually used it for certain purposes. I have to mention that off air, but
Yeah.
We know you were doing porn on your DS.
Yeah, yeah, definitely that. Definitely. That's
And,
why
oh
there's
yeah,
so many sand and scratches.
yeah, I broke a Wii also, so
Yeah.
come to
God
think of it.
damn.
But the Wii was common though because of the dual layer stuff. The CD-ROM drive would get hot, and it would either burn the Bluetooth module, or it will burn the the power LED connector on the
Yep,
front.
that's exactly
Um,
what happened.
yeah, so it'll kill one of those two things because the CD-ROM got so hot. I guess it wasn't necessarily designed to run dual layer games that much. And you put Smash Brothers in, and people play Smash. So that's
But
how I burned mine. But I
but
haven't
my
heard anybody else breaking the Wii like
yeah
that.
my Wii U's at 3 years though and going strong. Never had a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anybody broke one. I heard about people breaking them because they were idiots when they first got the console. That day one
The,
patch.
the downloading of like really guys. By the way, we need to take bets to see how long our Wii is gonna last.
Mhm.
I see Jamie's Wii is gonna tap out around 2017.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.
Well, yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, I just want to get one more thing in. We got the Video Game Awards coming up in about 2 weeks on December 3rd, and I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on what you think we may see world premiere wise at the Video Game Awards this year. Let's start with Shep this time.
I predict an all new, totally never seen before exact copy of a first person shooter. Most likely not Call of Duty, I'd say a Ubisoft first person shooter. I'm leaning towards. Look at see they already got Battlefront. I'm leaning towards the Marvel's franchise. It's gonna at least be a Marvel franchise thing coming up soon.
Hey,
And maybe
Shep. Your mic is messing up, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
you sound
phasing.
like a robot.
alright, right back.
That's an interesting concept though. Like a Ubisoft first-person shooter. What was the last one? 13? Was that the last?
Red Steel. Red Steel.
Oh,
No,
I'm
Red
sorry.
Steel.
Red
Yeah,
Steel.
Red Steel. Red
Excuse
Steel.
me.
Yeah,
My
Red
bad.
So while he's working on that, Shadow, what about you? What do you think we're going to see world premiere wise at the Video Game Awards?
World premiere. Let's see. A game we already saw at E3. I'm sorry. But
Oh, you know that's going to happen.
yeah,
I'm saying, what do you think we may get that's truly like a surprise?
totally new. I don't know because Sony already blew their wad because everything coming out for their platform has already been announced back in 2014. So all their 2016 and 17 stuff is everybody already knows about it.
Yeah.
Microsoft is kind of tricky. I don't know what they're going to do. They have a lot of stuff already announced too. Basically since like 2013, some stuff that's still waiting in the wings. New stuff.
Or maybe be like a new video or something that premiered, like say something like that Horizon game for PS4.
Yeah, I mean there may be new footage of that. I mean, yeah, like stuff that's already been announced. There'll be a lot of that. Maybe like new gameplay sections or something like that. But as far as like something we've never seen before showing up, the only thing I can think of is kind of like what I think what Shep was alluding to, and that would be whatever the new proper Modern Warfare is going to be, because it sure as hell wasn't Advanced Warfare. I mean, or not Advanced Warfare. Was it? Was it Advanced Warfare?
Yeah, it was Advanced Warfare.
It blows my mind because every time I say Advanced Warfare, I think about GRAW. I can't help but think about Ghost Recon. But yeah, that I think whatever the new Call of Duty is going to be.
That'll probably be like the okay, all right.
Yeah, so whatever the off-season version would be, that there would be Assassin's Creed something, unfortunately. Those are the only like unknowns you could pretty much guarantee are going to be there. There may be another game from probably from Bethesda. Because the Elder Scrolls needs its turn. and they've practiced enough with Fallout. So,
So, what would you like to see revealed at the Game Awards show?
I would like to see another Metroid Prime game revealed at Game Awards, but I don't think that's. I think if that's going to happen, that's going to be on another platform. I think they're going to hide that power. Other than that, like I would like to see Halo 6, but that's not going to happen either.
No.
It's too soon. I personally I want to see another Uncharted. I want to see Killer Instinct Season 3.
You just stole mine.
And I would like to see a new RPG of some type from any of the major third parties out there, JRPG more to speak. So either another new Tales game, something that's a successor to Star Ocean or Dragon Quest. That's the only thing I could really think of at this time. Okay. Actually, no. Final Fantasy Star Online 2 gets a date in the United States, and it's on every platform.
I would love that, but that ain't gonna happen.
That would be great.
That ain't gonna happen.
Come on, Sega, you want money? Why don't you do this?
As a Sega fan, that's debatable that they want money.
See,
very debatable.
Well, right, Jamie, technically they want money. That's really weird.
Hey, Capcom doesn't want money either. Jamie, what about you?
All right. I'm almost positive that we're gonna see whatever that individual that indie game that Sony has been pushing for who knows how long.
Oh, No Man's Sky?
Yeah, No Man's Sky. We're going to see that for like the 80th time, and we're still not going to know what the hell you're supposed to do in the game.
It's all plans are high.
Exactly. I'm going to make an outlandish guess here, and it would have been even more outlandish had Cloud not just been revealed for Smash Brothers. But I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say we're going to have Banjo-Kazooie announced for Smash Brothers, and at the same time, there will be an announcement for a new Banjo-Kazooie game on Xbox One.
As much as retarded as I think that would be, I'm actually game for that though. Why not? Like, just have every classic character known. Basically, the history of video games will be in Smash Brothers. Nowhere else could you go to get that.
Exactly.
You kind of should.
Here's something though. Remember, Phil Spencer has said he doesn't mind Banjo showing up in Smash.
Exactly.
So can I
4 months ago?
Can I make an aside real quick before I lose track? I know you hadn't said everything you needed to say, Jay, but I'm kind of thinking along the lines of this. So we were talking earlier about what Nintendo's intentions were with like Square and these other third parties and whatnot by putting characters in Smash and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of thinking it may not be about Smash at all. We're starting to hear about all these companies and stuff that are just saying, you know what, we're reevaluating our stance with Nintendo and stuff like that, and Activision seems to be willing to play ball. As in next year, they might be willing to play ball. I think Nintendo is holding these people ransom for that good old Amiibo money. They already gave some money to Activision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is right.
So the Shovel Knight Amiibo will be out pretty soon. And you got to imagine there's going to be a Ryu Amiibo at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's already some of the prototype images of the Amiibo for Ryu out there. And the thing is with Shovel Knight, they've kind of opened it up so that literally anyone can make an Amiibo.
Yeah, you make it, and Nintendo probably just they probably already figured out what their percentage is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that opens. That's basically free money because they're printing these things for pennies. So
yeah, Disney is pissed.
I predict a revival of Turok.
Yeah, they're like Toys of Life. Oh, we should do that too. Let's just step all over Disney.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Nintendo would do better than Disney on anything like that?
Yeah, that's bananas.
If you told me that 10 years ago, I would have told you were crazy.
You wouldn't have been the only one. I would have said it too. Shep, Well, let's see if you can say what you was trying to say before your mic messed up on you.
Oh, all right, here we go. I already mentioned the whole Ubisoft game. Hold on for a second. I'm getting a weird feedback.
It's not as bad as on our end though. So
Yeah.
Okay. All right, where was that? Oh, yes. So as I was saying, I don't hear it at all. That's weird. But you guys can still hear me clearly, correct?
Yep. You
Yeah,
sound fine.
yeah, we
You're
hear
good.
you.
All right, this is back to where I was. Sorry about that, guys. Let's try this again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
Yes,
hear
we can hear you.
Okay, no, because I was having issues. Anyways, as I was saying, regarding Ubisoft, I predict in regards to a new type of maybe not first-person shooter per se, but some type of shooter type game. There's going to be some tactical elements to it. How much they're going to integrate, I'm not sure. I predict also a rebirth of they're really pushing the first-person shooter, but it's not going to be Ubisoft. Kind of like what Shadow said. Also, there's going to be a revival of an old franchise. I'm not sure from where though, but somebody's going to revive an old franchise. And of course, they're going to beat to death all the E3 stuff. It's going to show again, and then they act like it's something brand new.
Okay.
I think the biggest cheer of the Game Awards will be when Ubisoft announces they're going to take a couple years break from Assassin's Creed.
That would be great.
That would be
Audience erupts.
I know everybody's gonna be silent in there. You're gonna be able to hear a pin drop.
I want EA to come on stage and say, we are making a brand new version of Desert Strike exclusively for Wii U. I'm sorry. That just makes all the sense in the world.
And then
They'll put out the whole tactical display on the gamepad.
Yes. This should be the time for EA to just make all the sense in the world. They just, hey, we realize this console can do stuff, so you're gonna play Madden and you don't have to have all that crap on the screen. Your plays will be on the gamepad. Hey, when you're playing your Wii U version of, insert game here, it's all there for you. When you're playing The Sims on the Wii U, everything you need is there. You don't have to worry about all these 50 million icons that you have to scroll too slowly with your analog stick. You can just select them. As a matter of fact, you know what? Every MMO that we've ever published will be on Wii U.
That is wishful thinking right there. That is,
just saying. It just blows my mind that Nintendo does things like release Super Mario Maker. They're just basically showing third-party developers, look, you guys are idiots. Like, you could have done this, you could have done this. Why isn't Doom on this platform? You will never have to worry about inventory. Just select which weapon you want. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Any game with mods, drag your item and put it where you want it to be.
Dark Side of the Show try to do that, but I digress. Me personally, what I would like to see is that Zelda U for 2016. I want to see a trailer or something, and I ain't talking about a trailer with freaking Miyamoto and Aonuma talking over it. I mean a real trailer.
Yeah, more than a 10-second trailer, the game was going to turn into a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
No more off screen.
No more off screen. I want a real freaking trailer. A real 2 to 3 minute trailer. That's all I'm asking for. Other than that, Killer Instinct Season 3, since Shadow already stole that from me. And actually, I wouldn't mind seeing like more of like Horizon, but I don't know if they're gonna do that at this one, unless it's just gonna be like a rehash of that E3 trailer or the trailer that they showed at the Paris games. But yeah, I really just want to see like a Zelda trailer and that Killer Instinct Season 3. Let me know if my boy Tusk gonna be on there, and let me see what Kim Woo look like.
Yes.
I saw the nunchucks. Just go and let me see what you look like.
All I'm saying is fishnets and flip flops, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Fishnets, flip flops, and pigtails. You can't beat that. I don't know.
It's simple, right? It's a
15-year-old bangs on a 25-year-old woman. Go figure.
simple character design, damn it. No. But no, seriously, I just want to see Zelda, probably Killer Instinct Season 3. And if there is like I wouldn't mind this JRPG series to get a reboot. Well, actually, two of them, Grandia
Yes.
and Skies of Arcadia. I would love them go forward.
Where do you go from there, though? From
what?
that ending?
On what?
Skies of Arcadia.
Man, anywhere. Just do it. Anywhere, just do it. I love that combat system. Anywhere, just do it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And Grandia, just because I love that series. That series was awesome. Had like some of the best turn-based combat system that I've ever played. So I would love to see that make a comeback. But who knows?
I just want I want people to copy one thing from Grandia. And it's that story beats happen in the middle of the battle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like you're sitting there fighting, and all of a sudden one of your companions lets loose this big twister of the plot in the middle of while you're fighting. I mean, there's still hit damage showing up and everything, and they just tell you this. Yeah, I'm really your sister. What? In the middle of while we're fighting? Okay, great.
Yeah.
We need more of that. I thought that was ingenious. In the second game in particular towards the end. So.
Oh yeah, dude, that was awesome when they did it because you never saw it coming.
Yeah.
You are literally in the middle of a boss fight.
Yeah, they gotta more JRPG houses should make that happen. I think. I think that's pretty good.
If Child of Light can get that fight system in there, I need a full-fledged Grandia game back.
Yes.
I need a full-fledged Grandia game back.
Speaking of which, talk about dumb, like Ubisoft sequel, DLC, something.
Well, Michel Ancel, his team that made that game, they made more than enough. They said they made more than enough to make us an actual full-fledged sequel. So yeah, you got to talk to Yves Guillemot.
That's a damn good game.
But everybody just wants to play Just Dance. So that being said, well, we did get one question from Juanito Snow. Why would Phil Spencer not mind Banjo and Smash? That's basically promoting a franchise Microsoft owns that NintendoWare put all the work in for.
But wasn't Microsoft okay with Rare publishing games on the DS and 3DS?
That's what came out of Phil's mouth. Yeah, Phil, like, he didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, they can't. They can't leverage it that way. So why would you? They came out with the Rare collection, but a lot of that history is lost because it all happened with Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And who knows? I mean, Banjo-Kazooie could also end up being like one of the top 3 of the Smash ballot.
Yeah.
Because I saw some people. I remember seeing like people actually asking people to vote for them. So, I ain't gonna lie. The people I voted for was Bayonetta and Cloud. I did vote for Cloud.
Voted for Bayonetta like 18 times, I think. I think I used like 9 different addresses.
I kept voting for Bayonetta. I'm like, Cloud I voted for twice. Bayonetta I voted for probably about 30 times. I'm not even gonna lie.
But to be fair though, if Microsoft sat down and they said, "Hey, we worked a deal out with Nintendo. Tomorrow you can buy a Banjo amiibo," I'm all over it. As much as I said, I think maybe 3 or 4 times I said I quit on amiibo. I'm sold on that. I think everybody's quit amiibo at least twice, right?
At least twice. That's the way they do amiibo is you're like, okay, I got the set that I want. I'm good. I don't need any more. Oh, really? Hey, we're gonna release this Wolf Link amiibo. You want it? Damn it! You know.
Did either of y'all watch Coupon's reaction video to the Nintendo Direct?
Yes.
She was cussing Nintendo out. I think all of us felt that way though.
Yeah, like, every last one of us was like that. He was like, "Hey, this
So now I gotta get another one. I got the Link. I got Zelda. I got Ganondorf. God,
like you get the whole set and you're like, good. I don't need to. I'm taken care of. I don't need to get anything else. And they come out with that. Yep. I'm scared of what they're gonna do with Kid Icarus because I got that set. I'm like, please don't do nothing else.
Palutena. Yep. Yep. Palutena was. I was like, must get now. If I do not get now, I'm gonna pay for it later. So.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. I mean, like Amiibo is because not only is it actually work in game, it actually is just cool to have around. Yeah. In my opinion, actually. So it works for me.
Same shape. You could put them all. They all have the same base, so you can sit them all in the same little area. It just makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. So, well, peeps, that is our show for this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the midweek show. Shadow, you got anything you want to pimp out?
Well, yeah. I got a video that's gonna be posting pretty soon, I guess, whenever I get off my lazy ass and finish doing the rest of the commentary for the last bit of it. Other than that, some more, maybe some reviews will be coming out of me pretty soon, since I finally decided to rebuild my Mac Pro. So there may be a little bit of footage and stuff coming from me and me reviewing some products, some games and stuff like that. So just look forward to that and keep following gamers at large and play Nintendo, fools.
All right, Jamie.
No, I got nothing.
Okay. All right.
And well, Buttercast is looming. It's coming.
Is it? That's news to me. I think what happened, but.
Well, that reminds me. Since we got Thanksgiving coming up, y'all know how we do. If you are listeners of the shows, we usually take the holidays off. So Sunday, this coming Sunday, not this coming Sunday. Is it this coming Sunday? Yeah, it is this coming Sunday. Yeah. The 22nd, I think it is. And the midweek show that will be next Wednesday, we're not having those. We're going to be off for Thanksgiving, so everybody needs to go spend time with their family anyway.
Yep. Give thanks.
Yeah. So Thursday, I do have a couple of gameplay vids coming up. You will see one. You should see Rodea the Sky Soldier. I played the prologue and the first chapter of that. I'm going to give you guys a piece of advice. If you get Rodea the Sky Soldier on the Wii U, do not use the gamepad. I repeat, do not use the gamepad. Use the Wii Remote and Chuck. That is how that game needs to be played. That is all.
Okay.
And we will see you guys when we get back from Thanksgiving. So everybody, have a nice evening. Have a nice week next week, and we'll see you guys on the 29th. Peace out.
Do you play games that have fun to impress other people?